In my limited experience, if someone is actually into you, things will be very easy. Agreed. Yes, relationships take work as people like to say, but sometimes the two of you are just incompatible. It's eye-opening when difficulties that were persistent with one romantic partner are simply non-existent with another. Can't that go both ways? Sometimes your new so has problems your old one never did. My experience has been the same. My former relationship attempts had quite a bit of anxiety with me trying to be interesting and read situations so I could react/respond appropriately. My current relationship has none of that. We just clicked and things effortless flow. While, sure, all relationships take work, the work is much more enjoyable and easy when you and your partner are super compatible. That work is more of an investment than a repair. Very true. And with my current partner, I want to do the work. I had been single for a very long time and dated a lot. It was always difficult. I'd go out with a guy, have a nice time. Maybe we'd hang out again. Maybe we'd hook up. Maybe we'd text a bit. But nothing was ever smooth or easy or moved beyond a few dates. I was always calling my friends and asking for advice, decoding messages, trying to figure them out. Usually they ghosted. Then finally, after many years of the same crap over and over again, I met a guy and the courtship was easy. There was no game playing, no wondering when I'd see him again. He let me know how he was feeling. He called when he said he would and kept plans. We were together for 2 years, and in the end, it didn't work out. Now I'm single again and dread dating. But now I know what to look for, what to accept, and what's real. No more bullshit. Unless they have anxiety. In that case, if they kinda like you, then things will be easy and relaxed. But if they really like you, then they are gonna start acting weird. I tend to be a calm and steady dude, and women with anxiety tend to be drawn towards me. But as soon as I indicate I might be interested in them as well, they act weird and unstable, and I end up noping out of that. Haven't found a solution yet. I can answer to this because I used to be such a woman, anxious avoidant due to having had trauma regarding intimacy. Fell for a guy who is grounded, sweet, nice and just self-secure. We'd banter and were going from acquaintances to friends. When he began opening up to me is what triggered me to go avoidant. It caused me to be hyper self-conscious and insecure about not being liked. Partially due to having been burned badly by a narc guy who got close to me only to stab me in the back. So emotional trauma was acting up. I'm embarrassed to say that I got so insecure with this sweet guy, especially when a new girl began hanging out with his crew during smoke breaks, that I just went avoidant on him for 2 months. We became strangers in passing. We stopped waving/smiling/talking to each other as we'd once done. Despite the mess I caused though, every time I saw him it hurt me deeply. In my efforts to protect myself, I was also hurting him. So I check myself into therapy so I can represent myself well. This guy became the catalyst for me to better myself and to finally do something about my maladaptive ways. So to answer your question, the solution isn't you. It lies in the women, and hopefully they have the awareness enough to do something about their emotional trauma before going to forge relationships. P.S. After I got my head back on, I decided to talk to him, and it was in a group setting, but he seemed receptive. I was pleased with my efforts and thought nothing more of it. Next day though, I ran into him unexpectedly, and he was so friendly, like as if the 2-month gap in time had disappeared. He lingered around me to make small talk about silly trivial things. It was so endearing. His vulnerability inspired me. This was all pre-COVID. We still talk, and it seems our conversations still flow. But I'm careful to not relapse, and to treat myself and him with respect. I'm lucky I didn't lose him altogether. That's kind of the issue though. Basically, if the other person has issues, there often isn't much to do, but hope they eventually sort themselves out. Being selfless can be nice, but at the end of the day you have to take care of your own self. So it comes down to properly filtering who you date. And it just sucks when you find someone who rides the attractive but flawed line too hard. I'm experiencing this for the first time as well with my new girl right now. It's amazing but very weird. I agree. It's suspicious almost. You keep waiting for something bad to happen. For sure, it takes so much willpower to not say something stupid, like "You're not getting bored of me, are you?" Or "I think you're the first girl to ever actually like me." So much this, I have never, for 1 second, had to worry about how my boyfriend feels about me. He goes out of his way to make me feel loved and cared for. I can fully be myself around him, and I think he feels the same way. Easiest relationship ever, and it feels amazing. This is 100% accurate. I dated a lot before I met my fiancé at 33 years old. There was always a chase. Either the guy would ask for more than I was interested in, i.e., spending more time together, meeting my friends/family, etc. Or I'd be constantly on edge because he wasn't texting me, or wasn't telling me his feelings, or wasn't spending enough time with me. It was always work. But I thought that was normal. When I met my current partner, neither of us had to unequally pursue the other, and it was easy. So natural that we never had to question each other's intentions, or worry about the future. We are getting married, with no guests, in 2 weeks. Congratulations, 2 weeks is coming soon. Have a happy married life. Then out of nowhere I met someone. That's it. I need to move to nowhere. Can I tag along? I can confirm. Soulmate came from out of nowhere. Exactly. Relationships are hard work. The beginning of a relationship should be fairly easy. Either you click, or you don't. Far too many people are so focused on the fact that they don't want to be alone that they ignore red flags, force relationships with people they aren't compatible with, and fail to listen to their guts. In those early dates/weeks, you should be focusing on whether or not there is genuine chemistry, how easily conversation flows, whether or not your values, beliefs and goals line up, etc. And if these things don't all fall into place on their own, without hiding pieces of yourself, watering down your personality and/or pretending to be okay with things that you aren't, move on. I'm so happy for you. If you have to convince someone to love you, they'll only stay for as you keep them convinced. When interest and affection is reciprocated, keeping each other convinced is easy. My motto has always been, it's always wrong until it's right. If every person you dated turned out amazing, it wouldn't be special. It's like Christmas. If every day was Christmas, we wouldn't give a ref about Christmas anymore. 100% agree. I think this is why working on yourself and your own goals are so important. Nothing you can do will change a bad match into a good one. But if you did not take care of yourself, you may turn off the right one when you meet them with the aspects of your life that can be problematic. Not sure if I fully agree. There are aspects of my life that probably a lot of people would find problematic, and you can spend forever working on yourself. At the end of the day, the right person will accept you as you are. You shouldn't feel like you're putting on some show. If it's the right person, they won't be turned off, unless you're some drug addict alcoholic. But even then, there are people in that situation who also found someone that liked them for them. The point isn't to be perfect. The point is to be working on yourself. When I met my wife, I had a long way to go, but I had also made a lot of progress. For me, specifically, drinking was one of my problems, and I had struggled to moderate for years before finally quitting. I met my wife after I quit, not while I was trying to quit, and there is a difference. For some, the issue may be a porn addiction, or debt, or mental health problems to learn how to manage. I also had a lot of debt when we met, and had started paying it off. But I was a long way away. I didn't need to be perfect. I just needed to be trying to improve. I'm happy for you, and I know what you have in mind, but life is not black or white like this. I'm never into a new person until I get to know them better. I had an instant connection with the most current ex, and it wounded me badly after 9 months of dating. Society is too much into this whole instant everything. My longest, happiest and healthiest relationship was with someone I've known for 3 years prior to us ever being together. I still miss him. Don't be discouraged if the connection is not instant. As long as you are curious about each other and like each other's company, let the connection grow naturally. I think the overarching message though is that you don't have to simply accept mind games. PPL ghosting you or being really ambiguous, making you wonder what you did wrong. If PPL aren't in a good place to communicate openly or just aren't in the same headspace, it can be painful for one or both to force it. PPL can just be different and need different things from early stages. So you're right that it's not just at meeting the right person and clicking immediately. Getting to know someone is fine. Letting expectations hang in the air is not fine. Pacing is different in every relationship, and I think the goal is to get more comfortable, not to achieve a level of interpreting the game plays on either side, to keep the ball in the air, so to speak. It goes both ways. Yes, dating is hard when one party is just iffy about the other. Totally agree. And sure, sometimes relationships takes a little bit of work, but it should be based on curiosity and love. For example, hey, you work a bit differently than me. I want to understand you so that this works more smoothly and that I don't step on your toes, and not hey, why are you like this? Change. I think we sometimes forget how it should feel like though, especially after 10 bad dates or so. I tend to have a few friends with healthy relationships that I look to. I want to have what they have, and they sometimes remind me of how easy it should feel in the beginning. I agree to an extent with one slight modification. I think that things will feel natural if both parties share mutual interest. I think it's important to distinguish the difference, because easy implies that little effort needs to be expended because things should just fall into place. While this can happen occasionally, I've found that it's more common for both parties to have to put in work to properly get to know each other, which can be difficult at times. It shouldn't feel forced, though, hence the natural feeling I mentioned earlier. Just my opinion though. Curious if people agree or disagree. I think this is maybe what I truly meant. Of course you have to put in the effort to see them, plan things, hang out, but it should never feel like you're pulling teeth. If they are interested in you, they will make time for you. You're totally right. My theory: if the beginning is hard, later will even harder. If the height of passion is bad, how it'll be later. So the first few months needs to be calm. What if it always feel forced and only feel natural after a while? That's more my experience. You don't know that person at the start, you just need to give time to start to feel comfortable.